Welcome to Eye on America. I'm Michelle Miller. From small towns to big cities, we share stories of the communities making our nation stronger. We'll bring you an inspiring look at migrant families in Texas on a path to accessible education. And we learned some small tips to save big at the grocery store amid rising inflation. But first, a once struggling Idaho mining town is coming back to life thanks to a natural stream. Jonathan Vigliotti reports on the ripple effect that's helping create jobs.
Hidden in Idaho's White Knob Mountains.
What's this over here? That is the Cossack compressor building.
You'll find what's left of the copper and silver mines that first put the small town of Mackie on the map.
There was over 1,200 people living on this mountain.
How many people live there now?
Just squirrels.
Mayor Wayne Olson brought us here to see his town's past and in the valley below, what he hopes is its future. Water, sustainably harvested from a local spring, bottled in recycled American-sourced aluminum at this Mackie plant, and shipped around the country by people like sixth-generation Mackian Kelvin Krosh.
Our water is second to none, just the taste and the natural purification.
Locally, it's celebrated for helping bring new life to a town that, like its mines, nearly shuttered.
The city was about to, have to close the school down because there wasn't anything here and not enough students in school.
Proud Source co-founder and Mackie native Ryan Donahue asked his friend C.J. Pennington for help.
And it wasn't from a place of, hey, I have a great business idea and I'm going to go make all this money. Come join me. It was, I need to create 10 jobs.
In 2016, the city offered them a license for water access and a 5-year incentive. Create 5 full-time jobs while using no more than 5% of the spring's water, and the city would give them the deed for the land.
How many jobs now?
We have 32 in Mackie, and I think we're the largest employer in Mackie as well.
Not bad for a town of 500. This year, the company projects sales of $50 million. And there's been a ripple effect. Last year's senior graduating class was more than double the one just 3 years earlier.
We've got quite a few new families. We've got a lot of new construction going around. I love to hear hammers and saws because that means there's progress.
Progress for an old mining town from a new source of pride.
Now we head to Baltimore, where the National Archives is home to many of our nation's top secret documents and priceless artifacts, except for the ones people have swiped over the years. Scott McFarland takes a look at what you might call stolen history.
Many people keep old record collections, and even more of us keep piles of old heirlooms in the basement.
Here we have Bob Hope.
But David Golden has a basement unlike any in history. It's actually a collection of history.
And that will record for about an hour.
Golden's a retired radio engineer. In a climate-controlled chamber in his Connecticut home, Golden stores his unparalleled collection of historic audio recordings, items he's recorded off the air or hunted down since he was a kid. You have hundreds of recordings?
The last time I counted, I had 120,700.
120,700 recordings?
Yes.
From the radio call of the 1948 World Series to an original copy of Orson Welles' 1938 War of the Worlds, to dispatches from the front lines of World War II.
Among their ships sunk were 4 submarines.
Is there room for anything more?
Well, I'm thinking of kicking my wife out, but I haven't broken the idea to her yet.
Over the years, he's donated thousands of his artifacts to the National Archives, including a one-of-a-kind recording of Babe Ruth bird hunting in 1937. So what did you think one day when you go on eBay and you see it for sale?
I said, holy expletive. That can't be.
The Babe Ruth clip was stolen, an inside job, lifted then put up for sale by a then National Archives employee named Les Waffen. Golden alerted authorities, who arrested Waffen. Waffen pleaded guilty to theft and served about a year in prison for stealing thousands of artifacts. But Waffen isn't the only one. In 2018, a judge sentenced historian Antonine DeHaze to a year in prison for stealing historic pieces that included a Tuskegee Airman's dog tags from the National Archives' Maryland holding facility. A CBS News review shows federal inspectors have launched about a half-dozen investigations into thousands of stolen archives records over the past decade. Attorney Kel McClanahan is an expert on government records.
You have to go to extreme measures to get something out of the archives that they don't want you to get out. I mean, it's not Fort Knox, but it's secure. They treat it like a high-end luxury goods store.
But perhaps no theft was as ambitious as Barry Landau's.
I think he just thought he could get away with it. He had so long. Up to then, he'd gotten away with it.
Landau stole historic presidential artifacts from archives and private collections from New York to Maryland, including dozens of artifacts from the Maryland Center for History and Culture in Baltimore, where a decade ago he tried to distract the staff with cupcakes and charm as he pocketed these early 20th century papers.
These have extraordinary historical value because they are the history of the country.
Literally pocketed them using a specially designed sport coat with extra pocket spaces sewn inside, until an eagle-eyed employee spotted him in the act.
There's somebody up there.
Correct.
As a lookout.
Yes.
Landau pleaded guilty and served nearly 7 years in prison. Stolen records cases often require years to solve or even detect. With millions of historic records, what's missing could long go overlooked unless the donor himself spots or hears it, like Dave Golden.
So you knew it was yours? Oh, yeah, I knew it was mine.
Or if the archives or library staff realize or spot something fishy.
The National Archives has its own recovery team, internal inspectors who track down lost or stolen artifacts. And here at the Maryland Center for History and Culture, they made some security upgrades after those thefts a few years ago. Among other things, they added security cameras.
Coming up, a college assistance program is helping families break the cycle of poverty and harvest hope. This is Eye on America. Welcome back. In Austin, Texas, some young migrant workers just might be on the path to a better life in America. Omar Villafranca takes us on a journey from farmers' fields to college classrooms to show how it works.
Let's get you up.
Giselle Chavez is used to getting up before the sun rises, but today is different. She's packing pillows, clothes, and the only life she's ever known in Edinburgh, Texas, into her mom's car. After one more family breakfast together, the daughter of migrant workers will drive 300 miles from the fields to her freshman year in college at St. Edward's University in Austin.
I'm nervous, like, oh my gosh, like, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna like the classes? Am I gonna like the people? Are they gonna like me? Look at Eileen. Oh,
It's a long way from where Giselle spent her summers, at what her family calls the Sandia, the watermelon fields in Texas, where thousands of melons are picked, packed, and shipped for sale across the country. Giselle's job was to slap stickers on the watermelons, only getting a break every 4 hours.
if I sit down, I can't put all those stickers, and they want me to put all the stickers on each watermelon. And I can, but I can't sit down. And I'm standing, I'm putting, my arms are getting tired. So I'm standing, my feet.
Giselle will now sit down in a classroom to major in math, thanks to CAMP, the College Assistance Migrant Program. CAMP helps migrant worker students fund their first year in college.
The migrant farm worker occupies the lowest level of any major group in the American economy.
The life of migrant workers was highlighted in 1960 by legendary CBS News anchor Edward R. Murrow in a documentary called Harvest of Shame. Murrow gave viewers an up-close look at the poverty and poor working conditions migrant workers faced in the richest country in the world because of a lack of access to education.
Approximately 1 out of every 500 children whose parents are still migrant laborers finishes grade school. Approximately 1 out of every 5,000 ever finishes high school. And there is no case upon the record of the child of a migrant laborer ever receiving a college diploma.
Harvest of Shame was the inspiration for a program designed to find a way to college for the children of migrant farmers.
In 1992, CBS Sunday morning correspondent David Culhane reported on CAMP and caught up with migrant worker students in the program at St. Edward's University.
I can't do this for the rest of my life. I've got to go to school. This is what I want to do.
One of the students was a recent graduate named Geronimo Rodriguez.
Uptight, yeah. It's the best way to put it. I was kind of scared.
Take on the world.
I was proud of my degree. I was ready for whatever was going to be in front of me.
Geronimo graduated from law school, became a healthcare executive, a school board trustee, and today, a mentor to new camp students at his alma mater.
The reason that I am here is because I don't believe in being the exception to the rule. I think we have a responsibility and obligation to ensure that kids that have experiences like mine, that we are the rule.
Justin Trevino is the son of migrant workers from Eagle Pass, Texas, and wants to start his own video game business. But first, he has to navigate life away from home.
I'm nervous because, like you said, not familiar, but I've always been a person that strives for more, and I always wanted to do big things.
Camp mentors aren't just helping students adjust, but parents too. Tensions were high when Giselle's mom almost didn't let her daughter come to college. She was worried about her safety.
Was a little headbutting. What made you change your mind and said, go?
Seeing her happy. That's the only reason why she's here, because I want to see her happy.
Geronimo says college is a learning process for everyone in a migrant family, and letting go is the first lesson for both students and parents.
I remember my grandmother. She would say one thing, cuídense, take care of each other. That's what I think the camp program, for me, 36 years later, is all about taking care of each other.
For Justin and Giselle, the College Assistant Migrant Program is helping their family break the cycle of poverty and harvesting hope.
One of my teachers always said to never look at the sunset, but always look at the sunrise. So high school was a sunset, but right now, when I'm starting at college, I'm looking at a sunrise.
Firefighters' jobs are dangerous enough as it is, but there's another not so obvious hidden concern facing them: chemicals in their equipment that have been linked to cancer. Mark Strassman heads to a North Carolina firehouse using technology that aims to reduce that risk.
For America's firefighters, the irony is jarring. Chemical foam they've sprayed on fires for decades to protect us was a hidden threat to them.
I looked at them and go, foam has carcinogens?
In Waxhaw, North Carolina, Chief Gregory Sharp showed us his department's stockpiled fire foam.
Some of this is probably 20 years old.
5-gallon buckets of foam concentrate laced with PFAS, man-made chemicals, water repellent, virtually indestructible, and dangerous if inhaled or absorbed into the body. For all of us, the EPA's lifetime health advisory for two of the most common PFAS, less than 1 part per trillion. Fire foam?
So it's 10 million parts per trillion.
Which is as high as it gets?
In pure form. Yeah, absolutely.
Amy Dindell's with Battelle, a science research nonprofit treating Waxhaw's stockpile. In a first commercial application, its promising technology uses heat and pressure and an oxidant to remove the threat in the PFAS carbon-fluorine bond.
10 seconds through our reactor, it will break the CF bond.
Another first. Waxhaw's crews testing clean fire foam made of organics. Green Fire, the manufacturer, says it's non-toxic, PFAS-free.
You can't eliminate the smoke, you can't eliminate the flames, you can't eliminate the PFAS. I don't want to get cancer and I don't want my folks to get cancer.
They're firefighters stamping out a threat in their own station.
After the break, from fighting fires to fighting inflation, we'll bring you strategies to save money at the grocery store. That's next. With inflation increasing prices on every aisle, grocery shopping can now come with a side of sticker shock. Meg Oliver met up with a Consumer Reports expert to share some money-saving tips.
If driving to the grocery store was already a chore you dreaded, these days it may feel extra daunting. The price of groceries seems to keep on soaring. According to Consumer Price Index, the price of food has risen more than 10% year over year. So today, Brian Vines from Consumer Reports is meeting us to explore why prices are so high and to give us some helpful tips on how to save big, even in small ways. Are you ready?
We stay ready, Meg.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go.
So what can we do to save money?
Wednesdays are the universal best time for grocery shopping. Between 8 and 10 a.m., stores are stocked for that Thursday to Sunday rush where supermarkets do 80% of their business.
So you need to plan a schedule.
Absolutely. And if you can, shop on the last 4 days of the month where you get the deepest discounts because stores are ready to turn over for the next month.
Fruits and vegetables are essential. How can we shop smarter for them?
Fruits and veg are at the peak of perfection right now, but frozen is always ready and they're just as nutritious, and you can stock up and save them. It beats the season and gives you savings all year long.
Does it help to buy fresh produce and then freeze it?
You can absolutely do that. If there's a deal on fresh produce, buy it, cut it, freeze it. It's ready for smoothies anytime you are. Unit pricing can be your friend, especially for non-perishables like this water that you could buy a bottle for about $1.33 a quart, but these in bulk, 33 cents a quart.
And how do you cash in on special member deals?
Oh, this is where you're gonna need your phone. There's so many stores that offer special member pricing if you join their savings club, and it translates into real value in the store and sometimes even at the pump.
And how about when it comes to protein?
Protein prices are skyrocketing, so fight the urge to run right to the meat aisle. Beans are a terrific high-protein option. Taco Tuesday doesn't always have to be ground beef. Get some quinoa, some beans, corn, mix it up.
Mix it up, and I'm
Mix it up.
assuming eggs would be a really good option.
Eggs are a perennial favorite. They're high in protein, it's clean, and you can mix it in and use them so many ways. Eggs are a key winner.
All right, let's not forget dessert. Come on, Brian.
Here it is. We have found my happy place.
Mine too.
Listen, reduce for quick sale. If your grocery store does not have one of these, find a different store.
How much can you save?
50% off
50%?
easily. Everything here is half off, so you can't feel guilty for stocking up on it.
Okay, I won't. I won't.
Go. The neighbors will eat something. It's fine.
I have a family of 5. How much could I save with these tips?
My family of 2 has saved $340 so far this year just using the in-store savings app.
Wow. Just from the tips today, we saved more than 20 bucks.
All right.
Not bad.
Grocery shopping can make you hungry, right? So it's only natural we close this episode with a unique story on chefs who are finding a home away from home. Recently, one Brooklyn restaurant offered a Ukrainian chef an opportunity to share his fine dining fare with New Yorkers. Our Elaine Quijano got a taste.
At this farmer's market in New York City, Chef Mirali Delvazi marveled at America's bounty. The types of produce he's seeing here for the first time will serve as inspiration for his passion, cooking.
I'm not a good artist, but I'm not a bad cook, so...
Delvazi is from Ukraine, and while he may not consider himself an artist, his creativity in the kitchen allowed him to fulfill a lifelong dream last year. In late 2021, despite a host of pandemic-induced challenges, he opened Mirali, his fine dining restaurant in the capital city of Kyiv. 4 months later, Russia invaded Ukraine. What did you think when you first learned about the Russian invasion?
Life changed because it was your dream about restaurants cancelled in one second.
You felt like your dream was over.
Yes, I felt like this.
He and his general manager, Olena Lusecka, made the agonizing decision to leave Ukraine and travel to Germany.
I never faced the situation when in your life the war happened. And what should we do to move on, to continue?
The war forced the restaurant to close temporarily. Its pantry then served a different purpose.
One CDP chef started to cook for Ukrainian military, use all our products which we have in the fridge.
Delvazi and Lusecka now find themselves across the world, thanks to a food critic and fan who introduced them to this Brooklyn restaurant. They'll oversee the menu and staff at Fulgurant's laundromat, where the green facade is just as vibrant as the ideas of its residents. Though the sign may suggest otherwise, this is a place where rising chefs are invited to take over for a period of time, implementing their own unique visions, much in the same way owner Hugo Ivernat reimagined the storefront itself.
What is your mission with this restaurant?
The whole idea for them is to have a space where they can create their own menu, find their own identity. So for us, it's like learning a lot of different food without changing restaurants.
What is your hope in bringing a Ukrainian chef here to Brooklyn?
If Mirali is able to do what he loves to do, even if it's not in Ukraine but somewhere else, and we can help him achieve that, I think this is the first step.
Dilbazi's restaurant back home is open once again, operating with a limited bistro menu, but he's been able to recreate his fine dining operation here with a menu of dishes they served in Kyiv, crafted with traditional techniques, contemporary twists, and an emphasis on seasonality. One of tonight's offerings, a tomato.
What is this dish called?
We called it heirloom of tomato.
That is fabulous. There's many, many flavors that I taste. What else is in there, you said?
Honey, it's only juice of tomato.
You made the honey from the tomato juice?
Yes.
I have never had tomato honey.
It's a showcase of the creativity that Dilbazi believes is so important.
See you smiling. Why are you smiling? Tell me why, Mirali, because I see the joy.
Yes, in Ukraine there's war, but we can go be creative in dark time, and here I can use energy for creative something, not for thinking about the war.
For more stories like these and live coverage of breaking news 24/7, stream us right here on CBS News. I'm Michelle Miller. Thank you for watching Eye on America.
This episode of Eye on America is sponsored by Amazon.